Well, hello, grappling fans. Thank you for joining us on this special day, a special show, because today Chase and I are going to be announcing the winners of the 2019 End of Year FloGrappling Awards. Chase, we've been building up to this for some time. I would say 12 months exactly, actually, right?
That's how this works, I think. Yeah. But man, what an incredible year, huh?
Well, it's a bit of a tradition. We've done this now for a couple of years. I think this is the fourth time that we've done the FloGrappling End of Year Awards. And what does it entail?
Well, it entails a whole lot of reviewing on our part. So we have to check out all the best events, biggest matches, submissions from 12 months of competition. That means going back to the European Championships, all the fight to wins, ADCC this year, Spider, a whole bunch of size. I mean, it is actually completely impossible to do, but it is so fun. It's like one of the best projects of the year to review all the best stuff.
It's a big year. 2019 was a huge year for grappling, right? I mean, you just mentioned some of the names there. ADCC, IBJJF World Championships, Kasai, Fight to Win, and everything else in between. It was a non-stop year of action, possibly one of the best years of grappling I think I've ever seen. And I think, to be honest, it wasn't hard finding good, suitable nominations for each of these categories, right?
It was hard narrowing it down. I mean,
Right.
There were so many. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Have a list of 25? That would be very difficult to do. So, it was a really fun process. We did something a bit different this year as well. We only have 4 categories out. Now, tell me why we did it like that.
So, with so much good grappling and so much good jiu-jitsu, we really wanted to highlight the best guys in the world. And that meant taking away some of the categories that we've run in previous years and focusing in on the ones that we feel deserve the most attention. And which ones were they? They were the best match, the best submission, and the best male and best female athletes of 2019. So really highlighting the cream of the crop. Only the very best in the game will win one of these coveted FloGrappling Awards. And of course, don't forget that this isn't simply us deciding who won. Of course, we all had a say as part of the FloGrappling team. We have a growing committee of grappling experts and analysts as part of FloGrappling, but also a crucial element was the popular vote as well, because we opened it up and we wanted the fans to have a contribution to this as well. And thank you so much for everybody who voted. It was definitely very interesting to see how your take aligned with our own, and I think maybe it's a good time to start rolling these out, shall we?
Let's run it. Let's do it.
All right, so the first one we're going to do is the 2019 Match of the Year. Wow, I mean, this was possibly one of the most difficult awards to even just narrow down. Like you say, the shortlist for this was not very short at all, right?
No, there are so many great candidates. And do you want to discuss now some of the guys that didn't quite make the cut, or should we just roll the film first?
Let's save that for a moment. But I mean, just to give people an idea of where these nominations came from, we literally started at the beginning of the year with the European Championships, all the way through to No-Gi World Championships, which took place just a week or two before Christmas. So it was literally a 12-month time period, and they were deserving candidates from the very beginning of the year right up to the very end, right? So let's take a look at the nominations, shall we? Huge.
Man, got
Huge.
goosebumps watching some of those clips.
Right. And to be honest, it's kind of easy to forget some of those as well, because there was so much good jiu-jitsu, so much good grappling in 2019 that maybe some of those were felt a little longer ago. Like, I know, for example, the Lucas Lepri match right there against Kynan from January, the Europeans. doesn't even feel like it was in 2019. It feels like it was 3 years ago.
But you know what's funny? That match in particular is seared into my memory because I was just in awe. I mean, Lucas Lepre is such a legend. He's a lightweight. He's won worlds 6 times, more than that, 7 times or something, and with the closeouts. But he's still doing the absolute. That's like a young gun thing, but he does it. And so I was just blown away in that match. And yeah, that one stands out to me. But it is funny that you say that. It is like a whirlwind. And when we put together these highlight videos, these nomination videos, I get this crazy, just overwhelming feeling because I was there for all those matches, and it takes me right back to the floor where we have a really privileged view of everything. And man, what a year! What a year!
Absolutely, and the real interesting kind of spread of the types of matches that we've got on here as well. There are gi matches and no gi. We've got guys like Nicholas Marigali versus Keenan Cornelius from Worlds, right through to Dante Leon versus Jaime Canuto at no gi Worlds. There's fight to win matches on there. There are Europeans, ADCC, and I think that really interesting to note as well that Gary Tonon on there in twice. So
yeah,
really hedging his bets and trying to make sure he's getting an award, because he's basically out there putting on match of the year candidates almost every time he competes. But that's really cool. So some of the matches that didn't make it into the final 6, Hanato Canuto obviously nominated there for his match with Gary Tonon, but I think we had like 2 or 3 Hanato Canuto matches on the shortlist as well.
I was just going to say, you mentioned Gary was nominated twice, but Hanato, should those other matches that were very close to making the list get on, he would have been nominated 3 times total. So, both those guys, I think, are in an endless battle for the most exciting jiu-jitsu athlete today. And, that's a fun one to watch play out for us. Everyone wins.
Yes, it was. Excuse me. So, I think it's time, drum roll please, but we should reveal the winner of the 2019 FloGrappling Match of the Year, and it is, boom, Gary Tonon versus Hanato Canuto from ADCC. And we mentioned it already, Chase, that Gary was nominated twice. Hanato was on the shortlist multiple times. Neither of these guys, they just don't know how to have a boring match, right?
Oh, absolutely. And what was fun about ADCC was that being there only 3 mats in action at the same time, you could really tell the emotions of the crowd, because certain matches would just be popping off, and that area of the arena would just be so loud. But the entire place was focused on Gary and Hanato during their bout. Back and forth to the very end, very, very close score. And what a match that was. Easily, I think, my favorite match of the year. So I agree with the selection here.
Yeah, phenomenal match, and a very special message coming to us from none other than Gary Tonon. Let's roll the tape.
Woo! Oh, what's up, guys? I didn't see you there. Oh, I just heard you guys voted my match with Hanato Canuto Match of the Year on FloGrappling. Thanks so much for the support.
That's the most Gary Tonon video I've seen.
Short and
today.
sweet, but a showman even in his acceptance speech. Gotta love Gary.
Yeah, we do. And this is it. He really didn't make it difficult for us, right? Because like we say, every time Gary goes out to compete, puts on an amazing show. So thank you, Gary. Thank you, Hanato, for both laying it all on the line, and well-deserving winners of the 2019 Match of the Year.
Fingers crossed they clash again in 2020.
I'd like to see that.
Let's do it.
All right, moving on now. We have got the 2019 Male Grappler of the Year. And this was not an easy one to choose, because there were 6 incredibly deserving candidates for this, I believe. Possibly one of the closest ones to have to choose between, because there are some guys that have just incredible achievements, guys who have made indelible marks on the sport, breakout stars, veterans. There's a bit of everything, right?
Yeah, this is more complicated than Best Match. Best Match is sheer action, right? Back and forth, it's a war. When it comes to the Male Grappler of the Year and Female Grappler of the Year, things like legacies are at stake. Like, how many years in a row have they won something? Who did they beat? And at what time in the tournament? How difficult were the brackets? There's a lot more to it than just analyzing a 10-minute match. So, yeah, this was tough for us to come up with a list that we all agreed upon. I know there's a lot of back and forth, but really happy with the candidates. I mean, you have the best guys in the sport today on this list. We have people like Kynan, Gordon Ryan, Buchecha, Marigali, Mikey Musumeci, Mateus Gabriel, and it's almost hard to say one had a better year than the other, but we got to do it. We got to have the award. So it was fun to see the fan votes roll in, to debate amongst ourselves. It's a great category, and much respect to anyone on the list, and all those who were close as well.
They really were. It was a very difficult one to kind of choose one above the others, because such a competitive field. But let's take a look at the 6 nominations. Wow, I gotta say that is bringing back a lot of good memories. Mikey's footlock in the final there, the fastest submission ever recorded in a black belt final from the IBJJF World Championships. Phenomenal. Of course, as you said, legacies were cemented. I think some legacies were maybe created as well. You had some really some guys just making waves early in their career and setting things out for how they're going to go in the future. Who stood out for you, Chase? I mean, there are obviously some really strong names on that list.
Yeah, it's hard to say some stood out more than the others. I think, Mikey Musumeci getting to finish like he did in definitive fashion, that's a moment I'll never forget.
And winning his 3rd world title in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having his whole weight cut ordeal, like that transformation he did to win that tournament, the brutal weight cut, winning the matches, beating Bruno Malfacini, that's an incredible trajectory. Kynan, on the other hand, it was another athlete that really stood out to me just because the sheer volume.
Yeah.
No one worked harder than that guy this year.
He was the most winningest athlete of the 2019. The guy competed in everything, and he really lost. So.
And gi and no gi. Mm-hmm. Most of the other athletes here had extreme success in one of the disciplines, but Kynan won ADCC
extreme
and Worlds.
Success. Yeah, you nailed it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Gordon Ryan, right? Because that guy taking the double gold at ADCC without conceding a single point, 6 out of 8 matches finished by submission. That's certainly grabbed people's attentions, right?
Absolutely. But everyone on the list, well-deserving, well-formed legacies already.
So, once again, drum roll please, but time to announce the winner of the 2019 Male Grappler of the Year, and it is Kynan Duarte. Wow, the Atos Black Belt, 2019 IBJJF World Champion, 2019 ADCC World Champion, 2019 IBJJF Pan Champion, Abu Dhabi World Pro Champion, Kasai Pro Champion, Spider Champion. Like, you name it, this guy wins it, right? Very few times that he lost this year.
Yeah, for me, he was the strong candidate to take Male Grappler of the Year just because we were just talking work rate and variety. He won gi, no gi, did it all year long, beat the best names in the sport. I mean, what else can you say?
Well, it's all in his first complete year as a black belt as well. He started competing on the black belt scene sort of mid to late 2018, but 2019 was the first full year that he'd been competing as a black belt. And the most successful rookie year, if you want to call it that, the most successful rookie year that the sport has ever seen. And to be honest, I'm not sure if we'll ever see anybody top that.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. I mean, the timing of it also makes sense. ADCC doesn't come every year, for example. So for a first-year black belt to do it, they got to have that also. But, I mean, yeah, Kynan holds wins over a few guys on this list. And for me, it was the clear vote. But it was a lot of fun to go through all the other candidates as well.
Really was, really was. I think we've got a message from Kynan as well. So let's hear what he had to say.
Hello, guys. Kynan Duarte here. Just received the award of the best grappler of 2019. 2018 was an incredible year for me, and I'm make just this video to say thank you everyone that voted to me, and in special I want to say thank you all my team that support me in the trainings, my sponsor, and special my coach Andrea that always give support to me, and this year is going to be even better.
Well, thank you, Kainan, for sending us that message and sharing it with the fans. Obviously, something that's another achievement that he can add to his incredible resume from 2019 to be awarded the FloGrappling Male Grappler of the Year as well. You name it, this guy wins it, right?
Big shout out to Kainan, and congratulations to all the nominees. You guys earned it with your performances throughout the year as well.
So, speaking of amazing performances and competitive divisions, I think that the Female Grappler of the Year was potentially the most competitive of all the FloGrappling awards from 2019. Very, very difficult to establish a clear candidate for this. The shortlist was very long indeed because of the growing number of exceptional female athletes and the hyper competitive nature of the divisions that they compete in as well, right, Chase?
Absolutely. Almost everyone on this list has a win over each other at some point during the season. There was no ultra dominant perfect seasons displayed here, which made it fun to debate who was the best because it wasn't an obvious choice. Yeah, it was up and down all around. We have also people like Gabby Garcia, who's not the most active, but then does something like wins 4 ADCC titles, ties Marcelo Garcia's record. So we had to factor that in too, when we talk about the bigger picture of the sport.
Yeah, there's the women's divisions. Of course, I think we had the best year possible for women's jiu-jitsu and women's grappling in 2019. The numbers of female competitors have exploded. The quality of these divisions is just unmatched, and that has led to some really incredible matches. And as you say, the competitive nature of that landscape made it very, very difficult to choose not only an overall winner, but even to narrow it down to the 6 possible candidates. Let's take a look and see who those 6 women are. Wow, that last clip there, definitely bringing back some crazy memories. I'd say,
Yeah.
Oof. And we just saw it right there. The 6 women nominated for this award. At some point, they've tasted the best possible victories, and yet they've also experienced some of the harshest and crushing defeats as well. So it's definitely very difficult to pick a clear candidate as the winner, considering the up and down nature of the women's jiu-jitsu scene this year. But man, we definitely had a lot of entertainment in the process, right?
Certainly, you can take gi and no gi into consideration as well. Bia Mosquito holds a couple wins over Fionn in the gi this year, and then Fionn goes out and submits her in explosive fashion at ADCC in a no gi tournament. So that was really fun to see how the different formats, different rule sets played out too. Nachieli holds a win over Gabby Garcia at Fight to Win. That's a submission-only rule set. So it was really a variety of scenarios that we had to go through for our selection process, and of course, taking a look at your votes as well.
Right. So of those 6, of course, there's Bianca Basilio, who took titles such as ADCC and the World Pro. Gabby Garcia, Fight to Win champion, ADCC champion. Nachieli, double gold at Worlds, and a Fight to Win. And Fionn, winning in multiple gi and no gi tournaments and super fights. Maisa Bastos, of course, almost unbeatable in the gi throughout the entire year. And of course, Beatriz Mesquita, one of literally the lady
goat,
yeah,
as we call her.
You know, and definitely an up and down year for her as well, but still with no small measure of success. So not an easy one to decide this one, but the winner of the 2019 Female Grappler of the Year is Bianca Basilio. Bianca Basilio, some of her achievements this year, of course, she won the ADCC World Championships with a phenomenal submission over Fionn Davis in the final. She placed first at the Brazilian National Championships, which is one of the toughest gi tournaments in the world. So showing her versatility in both gi and no gi competition. She took a gold medal at the Abu Dhabi World Pro, taking on competitors from all over the world. She took gold at various other smaller tournaments. She took silver at the World Championships this year. Really a phenomenal, well-rounded competitor. And we have a special message from Bianca as well. Let's take a listen to that.
Fala pessoal, meu nome é Bianca Basilio, eu represento a equipe Almeida JJ e eu estou aqui muito feliz para dizer para vocês que hoje eu recebi uma notícia muito boa. Eu fui nomeada pela FloGrappling a melhor competidora faixa preta do ano de 2019 e eu só tenho a agradecer a todas as pessoas que me acompanham, meus professores, meus pais, meu irmão, meu time Almeida JJ, meus parceiros de treino e todos os meus patrocinadores que me apoiam durante toda essa minha caminhada, meu trabalho rumo à conquista dos meus sonhos. Quero deixar o recado aqui para vocês de que o campeão não é feito só de vitórias, mas as derrotas servem para que nós possamos amadurecer, para que nós possamos buscar ainda mais. Então não desista se você ainda não alcançou os seus sonhos, porque tudo tem um tempo certo. Deus tem um tempo para todas as coisas. Então confie, acredite que a sua hora vai chegar e não fique triste pela derrota. Fique feliz porque você pode voltar a treinar mais e mais e competir novamente. Muito obrigada a todos pelo carinho que votaram em mim, todos que me acompanham. Então eu estou muito feliz de estar aqui. E esse ano de 2020, em nome de Jesus, será muito melhor. Eu darei o meu melhor, já estou me preparando muito, o europeu está aí e vamos com tudo. Deus abençoe todos vocês, um grande beijo, um abraço, valeu!
Wonderful message from Bianca Basilio there, and I think that she even mentions it in her speech right there about how the perfect year doesn't really matter, about how you can learn and you can take away as much from your defeats as you can from your victories, and you know, no champion has ever had the perfect run to the top. So really, I think something that we can all take something from, right?
Absolutely. I mean, even looking at Kynan, he didn't win out at Brazilian Nationals, so the perfect year is pretty hard to claim. And what a spectacular one, though, for Bianca Basilio. Well-deserved Female Grappler of the Year.
Indeed. Moving on now, the final category, the final award for the FloGrappling End of Year Awards. We're going to be looking at the submission of the year. Now, I think if you're looking at this as the equivalent of the Oscars, you know, the best match is maybe the best movie, and you have the best actor and best actress, but nothing compares to the best submission of the year, because it is that one special thing that only really exists in jiu-jitsu, the submission, the total finish, the ultimate victory. It's what defines grappling over any other sport. And the 6 submissions that we had on this list, wow, Chase, I mean, some special ones, right?
To me, this is the most difficult category to make a selection for, because when you look at best match, that takes back and forth. That's 2 athletes going at it. Best submission, that's just one individual finishing in such flair, with such drama and intentionality, with the stakes being high. I mean, there are so many factors, but a lot of matches actually meet this requirement. We had a tough time narrowing it down to 6.
We had a very tough time. To be honest, the toughest of all, I think, because our shortlist, well, we had the 6 matches, and we had literally double that number on the shortlist. So it was a very, very difficult task in boiling that down to the final 6. But as you said, the context mattered on this one, because a good match can happen anywhere, anytime. It just takes 2 guys willing to step up, to lay it all on the line, and to really just put on a show. Whereas a submission, it's as you mentioned earlier, it's like, well, who did they beat? How did they come back? Were they possibly losing? Was it like a come from behind victory? Were they down on points, or were they coming into the tournament? Was it an absolute division? Were they undersized? Was it the final of the World Championships? Or there's all these factors that we had to take into consideration, but sometimes they just stand out from their own merit as well, right? So the submission of the year, I mean, some of the ones that didn't make it onto the list as well are really, really notable. And I'd like to actually give them, a little bit of credit as well.
Let's do it, absolutely.
Because the fact that, Aaron Johnson's heel hook of Felipe Pena, Kasai, that didn't make it onto the shortlist says a lot, because that was an amazing moment.
We struggled with that. We really, really did struggle with that selection, but it wasn't alone. I mean, we also have Craig Jones' reverse triangle over Adam Wardzinski, incredible display of technique, over a very, very tough opponent. So there are so many more. We have Kynan submitting Joao Gabriel Rocha very early into his black belt career. That was over the summer.
And that was a little bit of a crazy story as well, about how he was on his way to the tournament and the taxi took him to the wrong arena. And
in Russia, by the way.
In Russia,
Yeah.
in Moscow. And then he gets there late and they call him onto the mat and he doesn't have any time to warm up, and he runs out on there and he submits Joao Gabriel Rocha with a guillotine in
After
about 2
kind of
minutes.
getting trashed for the first few minutes because he had no time to warm up. He had just gone off a flight. I mean, and he's facing a beast like Joao Gabriel Rocha. I can't blame him for it, but he found a way to survive and get the finish. So there's a ton of matches, or submissions rather, that we really, really love and appreciate, but they just didn't beat out these other 6 that
Not
we
quite.
ended up on the final list of our nominations.
So of those submissions, it's also interesting to note that 2 of them took place ADCC, or Gary Tonon's heel hook against Edwin Najmi, and Lachlan Giles' heel hook against Kynan Duarte. But there were submissions in the gi, and obviously we mentioned earlier that Mikey Musumeci, his footlock, the fastest submission in IBJJF World Championship final history. And then there was first-year black belt Mateus Gabriel, the final a submission in the final against Marcio Andre, and that was one of the few submissions in a final this year as well. So again, gets everybody's attention. A real interesting mix of candidates there, but of course, there can only be one winner. And that winner is, drum roll.
Should we show the highlight though first, the nominee video?
Oh, we should. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Okay, really sorry. Nomination video. Let's play it.
We want to see these things, right?
Thank you, Jason. Wow, there they are, the 6 candidates. Gary Tonon's heel hook, Adam Wardzinski's choke against Leandro Lowe. That was a shocker when that happened. Mikey's footlock, Mateus Gabriel's armbar, Lachlan Giles' heel hook against Kynan, and of course Hudson Mateus. This is the 2nd year in a row that he's been nominated for Submission of the Year, by the way. Hudson's
With
armbar.
that same technique.
Pretty much, yeah. He's
50-50 armbar is
no
just,
secret what he likes, right?
It's just a home run for that guy, man. I have to give Gutenberg credit because he got into the 50-50 position and didn't freak out. And I was like, well, that seems like a bad call, but Hudson's a monster.
Yeah, playing with fire there, but yeah, the list of nominations this year, I think the Submission of the Year, definitely there's some mind blowing techniques and extremely just unforgettable moments as well, I think is the best way to describe it. But as we said, there can only be one winner. Drum roll, please. The winner is Lachlan Giles for his stunning first round absolute division heel hook win over Kainan Duarte at the ADCC. And of course, Chase, we have to mention that Kainan Duarte, we said that he had a phenomenal year, but it wasn't without his blemishes. And I think the one that people possibly will remember the most was the fact that just minutes after he'd won the 2019 ADCC World Championships over 99 kilogram division, he went out there and he ended up losing in the first round to none other than Lachlan Giles, the 77 kilogram Australian black belt, who had actually gone out first round in the weight division.
Yeah, what a comeback performance for Lachlan. Really, any one of those 3 submissions he secured in the absolute division, we're talking about Muhammad Ali and Patrick Gaudio as well, could have served as the best submission of the year. But I think taking out the very recent, as you mentioned, heavyweight champion, 99 kilogram champion, in dramatic fashion like that, I mean, you can't really get better, right? That's why we've named Lachlan unofficially the People's Champ of ADCC, because, I mean, he made such a legacy for himself, provided probably the most thrilling 3 matches of the year. I mean, those could all go on like a separate list of like the most exciting moments of the year. Well, they're on there.
We actually have to say as well that we had difficulty in choosing just one for Lachlan, you know, on that short list, because all 3 were stunning in their own right. But I think that the lightning struck more than once for Lachlan, but the first was definitely the most memorable. The fact that he beat Kainan, who was literally the champion crowned just a short while before, definitely the one that put him on the map. And, Lachlan, he came home with a bronze medal from the ADCC Championships, but I think it's fair to say that he is the people's champion of that particular tournament.
Won the hearts and minds of all, that's for sure. No one's sleeping on Lachlan's technique anymore.
Not anymore, definitely not. We actually have a special message from Lachlan Giles as well, the Australian leg lock specialist, enjoying a short vacation, I think well earned as well. So let's hear what Lachlan had to say.
Hey everyone. Huge thank you for voting for me and helping me win the FloGrappling Submission of the Year award. It's been a great year in 2019, and as you can see, I'm working very hard to make 2020 another good year of grappling.
So a special video message from Hawaii, the beaches of Hawaii. I gotta say,
I guess he earned it.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's fair to say, but definitely that's well earned, and I'm not sure we'll ever see a moment like that again. To be honest, it's
Yeah, we have a way of being surprised. I'm hopeful, but maybe not. Who knows? But what a year. I had such a great time going through all these selections, through the categories, watching a lot of great jiu-jitsu. It's been a fun experience.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing. It really wasn't. And to be honest, I think that all that's left to say is to thank you to every single one of the grapplers who went out and competed in 2019 and gave us such great material to work with in creating this list. The best match, the best submission, the best male grappler, the best female grappler. Without you athletes, this simply would not be possible. And also a huge thank you to the fans for your contribution as well in letting us know who you wanted to see recognized in each of those categories. I gotta say, 2019 was a fantastic year for jiu-jitsu and grappling, and of course gave us plenty to work with. But here's hoping that 2020 is going to be even better, right?
We'll be there every step of the way, making these lists, keeping our eyes peeled for the best action, and cannot wait for the rest of the year to unfold.
Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. It has been an absolute honor to be able to announce the winners of the 2019 FloGrappling End of Year Awards. And we'll see you again in 12 months. Do this again. See you again.